Hi, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining me today. My name is Tyler Hyde. I am the Marketing Communications Manager for the Scripps National Spelling Bee. I have been a part of what we call the Bee Team, which is the full-time national staff of the Bee for 9 years. And I am coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, which is where the Bee and our parent company, the EW Scripps Company, are headquartered. So thanks to all of you who jumped into the chat with where you're tuning in from. We have a group from all over the country, which is very exciting. I'm personally excited to see a couple people from my home state of Georgia, very excited. And we have a great webinar lined up for you today. So I'm going to dive into it. We are here today to discuss your school spelling bee program. And the beauty of the bee is that it will probably look a little bit different for each one of you. So first, what we're going to do is walk through the educator portal, which is where you'll get all of your materials. And then we're also going to go through different ways you might consider structuring your spelling bee program for your school. Now, before we dive into that, I'd love to get to know all of you a little bit better. So I'm going to put up a couple of polls and your answers are going to help me steer today's conversation. So we have 3 questions as a part of this first poll. We have, is your school enrolled in the Bee program for this school year? Do you serve as your school spelling bee coordinator? And you might call that something a little different at your school, but basically that's the person who decides your competition structure, provides materials to all the teachers so they can host classroom bees. And then typically that school bee coordinator will also plan and run the school spelling bee event. And then if you are the school spelling bee coordinator, is this your first year as that coordinator in that role, or have you previously served as the coordinator? So I will give just a couple more seconds for people to answer. I know that's 3 questions you might have to think about a little bit. So let's see. Just a couple more seconds, and then I will share our results. All right. Here we go. Okay, perfect. So it looks like we have almost 70% of the people on this call have already enrolled their school with the Bee program for this year. That's fantastic. For those of you who haven't yet, don't worry about it. I'm going to show you how to do that really quickly right here at the top of the webinar. Do you serve as your school's Bee coordinator? 75% of you do. Wow, that's so exciting. That is fantastic. And then for those of you who aren't yet sure if you are the coordinator, we're going to give you lots of great information today. So you'll be all ready if you do take on that role. And then we have 80% are newbies, so new to that coordinator role. So welcome. This is all very exciting. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to get to share so much great info with you today. All right, let's dive into it then. Those responses are really going to help me as we go through the next 30, 40 minutes, depending, as we go through this. Before we start, though, I do want to point out you should see a Q&A button at the bottom of your screen, and you are welcome to leave questions whenever you have them. We are hopefully going to wrap up in time for me to answer some of those questions live. So do please feel free to jump in whenever you have a question and include it, because I am very fortunate to have some members of the Bees customer service team here to help me, and they will be answering some of your questions in real time, so that even if I don't get a chance to answer that live, you should have an answer to those questions. All right, I am going to go ahead and share my screen now, and we're going to get started. All right. So like I said, I believe it was about 70% of you have already enrolled, which is fantastic. For those of you who haven't, I'm going to really, really quickly show you how you can do that. And you absolutely should do it soon, because our discounted pricing of $180 per school is going to go away on October 31st. So very important. First step is going to spellingbee.com. That's what you see right here. It is our website. You see our wonderful champion from this past year, Dev Shah, right here on the homepage. You are going to go to either learn more here, or you can go up to this enroll button here at the top of the screen. This page will give you a lot of information about the timeline for the Bee, some resources that you receive as part of your school's enrollment. There are lots of really great resources. If you hit enroll your school here, that is where you will begin. So you can either, if you have enrolled your school previously, you can use this login to do that email address and password that you used last year. It will work for you again. Or you can say, click here to sign up. If you are a totally new school to our program, you can create an account and then you'll be able to start that enrollment process. So whether you are a new school or a returning school, you will go through the 4-step enrollment process. It's all done online, including your payment. You can do that online as well. And once your payment goes through, your school will be enrolled. And as soon as your school is enrolled with us, the school bee coordinator will be able to access the educator portal. And you can do this by clicking that login button there at the top of the screen. And I am going to get us started with our tour of that portal now. Whoop. As long as I can spell my password correctly. Okay, here we go. So this is the educator portal. There are a few things that I'd like to point out here on the home page. And first is that we have 2 great resources that are delineated for you right here in this top box, yellow to make sure that you see it. And those are the School Spelling Bee Checklist and Spelling Bee 101. So let me go ahead and show you what I am talking about. So first, we'll talk about the School Spelling Bee Checklist. That's what you see right there on the left. That resource is actually also available publicly on our website so that if you aren't yet enrolled, you can take a look at it and kind of see what all is involved in hosting a spelling bee program. And I will go ahead and include that link in the chat right now. So this resource shows you step-by-step what you'll need to accomplish to run a successful school bee program. And that's from distributing study lists to your students to finding officials for your school spelling bee. It breaks everything down in a really easy checkbox by checkbox format. So that's kind of keep that near you throughout your school bee season and make sure that you're on track with everything. Now, the second resource is only available to enrolled schools. You can see the title page of that right on the right side. That's called Spelling Bee 101. We developed it last year to give school bee coordinators a really deep dive into all the different parts of a school bee program. So when used in conjunction with the School Spelling Bee Checklist, you'll be more prepared to get your school's bee program off the ground. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty of your portal. Doing a little back and forth here, so give me a moment. Okay, so what we're going to do is you see the homepage here on the screen. You can see all of these different boxes here, these menu items on the left, and we're going to go through many of those today. What I'm going to do is, to start us off, I'm going to go all the way down here to regional program information, because this contains important information that you should know to get started with your program year. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the information that's here on this screen, which this is all test example information. But this is dummy information that is going to help us determine the timing of our spelling bee if we work backwards. So you likely already know that we work with organizations across the country to bring our program to your local communities. And those are our regional partners. And your regional partner might be a media company, a university, a newspaper, even a professional sports team in some areas. And what those regional partners do is they help us bridge the gap between your school spelling bee and our national competition in Washington, D.C. So once your regional partner has submitted information about their 2024 program to the bee, you'll be able to find all of that information here on that regional program information tab. So let's get into some of what you can find here. You can find the name of your regional partner here at the top, the date, location, and time for your regional spelling bee, which is that bee that takes place between the school spelling bee and then the national competition. And then you'll find important dates here. So you have the deadline that you need to hold your school spelling bee by, the deadline to register your school champion. We'll go through that process. And then some additional information. So many of our programs are very large. They take over a large territory. And so what you'll see is that your school spelling bee champion might move to a regional qualifier level. And depending on the region, depending on the spelling bee tradition, that could be called a district bee, a county bee, an area bee. It really just depends. And some of your school champions may actually have to go through multiple programs. So I mentioned Georgia earlier. The Georgia Association of Educators is our regional partner there. They have a statewide program. I came up in that statewide program quite a few years ago, and I was our school bee champion. And then I had to go through a couple different regional qualifier levels in order to make it to the national level, which I never did, but that's okay. So let's see. So that is all of the information that you can find here for that regional program information. It's going to delineate your regional partner's spelling bee structure. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this information, and we are going to work backwards to figure out when we should host our school spelling bee, any classroom spelling bees that might take place ahead of that, etc. So let me share with you my little example calendar. So here we are in January. So we're going to look at that school spelling bee deadline on this information that you saw under that tab. And in that case, they said you needed to have your school spelling bee completed by January 31st. So you see, I've got my little bee here on January 31st. And so we're going to work backwards to decide when we should host our school spelling bee, and then any classroom or grade level bees that might occur before that school's bee. Now, a quick caveat before we get into this, I do just want to say, if you log into your educator portal and you don't see all of this information in the regional program information tab yet, that's okay. It just means that your regional partner hasn't submitted their program information yet. We have some new regional partners who came on this year. They might still be updating their information. So if you don't yet have information, just know that we're working to get that information from your regional partner for you. So, but in this example, January 31st is that school deadline. So if we give ourselves a bit of a buffer, we would say that we plan to host our school spelling bee a few days ahead of that deadline. So so you have some decisions to make as you're planning for that school spelling bee. First, how many students will compete in your school bee? If students are part of a spelling club or they have to raise their hand and volunteer to compete, you likely already have your answer. But if you choose to have a school-wide spelling bee, you're probably going to need to do something to narrow down the number of students that would be competing. So we recommend that you normally have about 20 students compete in your school spelling bee, and you can narrow those down by hosting a classroom or a grade level spelling bee. You can use the classroom spelling bee resources, which I'll show you in a moment, for either type. We recommend holding a classroom level spelling bee just because that gets even more of the students at your school involved. But if you choose to host a grade level bee instead, that's absolutely your choice based on whatever works best for your school. So, all right. So we have our deadline of Wednesday, January 31st, which is set by our regional partner for holding the school bee. And before that, we're going to say that our school bee takes place Friday, January 26th. And so in that case, a good time to shoot for having all of your classroom bees would be that week of January 8th. That way, your classroom teachers would have a chance to get their study list to their students, perhaps before the winter break. They would be able to host their classroom bees during that week, and they would be able to get their classroom bees, classroom champions names to you by that Friday, the 12th. In order to for you to plan for your school bee, and also for those students to be able to study for the school spelling bee. Now, if your spelling bee program calendar is more spread out or is more condensed, that's completely fine. This is only an example just to give you an idea of how you can kind of work backwards to think about your school program. Now, once you have determined your structure, I'm going to show you where you can find all the materials that you'll need in the educator portal. So let me jump back to our portal. All right. So For any type of spelling bee, you're going to need two main materials that are provided by the bee. Study lists for your students, depending on what level of competition they're studying for, and competition lists for yourself, a classroom teacher, or your school spelling bee officials to use when conducting a spelling bee. So first, let's look at the study lists that are available to your students. In your educator portal, you'll see that you have two tabs here on the left side. We have a classroom spelling bee tab, which is going to show you all of the resources that are specific to the classroom. And then you have school spelling bee, which is going to give you the same thing, but at the school-wide level. So if we go to the school spelling bee tab, and up here at the top, we click on study lists, you will see that you have access to what we call the school spelling bee study list. And it is formatted in different ways, so you can decide which version is most appropriate for your students. The full list is 450 words, and that means that there are 50 words for each grade level at 1st through 7th grade. And then we have 100 words for the 8th grade study list, and that includes a bit of challenge words for those 8th grade students. So if we go to the classroom spelling bee tab and we click on study lists, you'll see that that school spelling bee study list is broken up into these different grade levels. And you'll see that there are, so if we're taking just the 1st grade list, for example, you'll see that we have a 1st grade list that is spelling only. So these are going to be just the words within a PDF list that you can provide to your 1st grade student. Or you have 1st grade study words with definitions, and that includes the part of speech and the definition for every word. So if you plan to host a school spelling bee program that is only spelling, we would recommend that you provide that spelling only list. However, if you're going to quiz your students or expect them to have knowledge of vocabulary of the word's meanings, you should provide that list with definitions. And of course, we've also provided two comprehensive lists that I showed you a moment ago with all of the 450 words. That's back here in study lists and at the school level. So you can see that this one is also broken up into spelling only and spelling with definitions. That's if you plan to have vocabulary as part of your program. Now, both of these lists incorporate all of those broken up grade level lists that I just showed you on the other page. And once your student has won their classroom or grade level bee and is preparing for their school bee, you'll want to provide them with this full list for them to study. All right, now let's talk about your competition lists. So these are the word lists that we provide for you to use to conduct each level of competition. So there is a list here under classroom spelling bee and competition lists that has the classroom competition list. That's what you'll provide to your classroom teachers so that they can host classroom level bees. We also then, if you go do the same thing, school spelling bee and competition lists, you'll see the school competition list. And you have access to both of those within the portal. This is the one that you'll want to use if you are hosting your school-wide spelling bee. Just as a note, all of the bees competition lists will begin with studied words from those study lists that I mentioned just a moment ago. And most of them end with what we call unstudied or additional words. So these are words that do not appear on our study lists. So they present more of a challenge to your students. Every word in all of our competition lists can be found in our official dictionary, which is Merriam-Webster Unabridged online. Now, your competition list, also you have access to an additional component that you can choose to incorporate in your competition, and that is the vocabulary supplement. And if you do decide to use the vocabulary supplement to test, spellers' knowledge of the meanings of the words, not just the spellings, you'll want to be sure to include those study lists with definitions when you provide your students with study lists. Now, just as a note, the bee started incorporating on-stage vocabulary rounds during our 2022 national competition to really great success. So if you would like to include vocabulary in your competition, we definitely encourage it. We think it really helps for that full language learning. And you can use that vocabulary supplement to do so. It includes different levels of oral or on-stage vocabulary questions. And then there's also the option for you to administer a written test as part of your competition, which would include those vocabulary words. Now, once you have all of your materials ready for the bee, let's talk about your competition itself. So there are a few different officials that you will want to recruit, as part of your school spelling bee program. And those officials are just the people who will administer the actual competition. So the roles you'll need to fill a classroom or school bee are pretty straightforward. They're the same ones that you'll see at the front of the stage if you watch the national competition, our live broadcast. So we have a pronouncer who is the one who pronounces the words for students. We encourage you to have at least one judge who will determine if the words have been spelled correctly. And then we also recommend having a record keeper, and they are a person who takes the handy record keeping sheet that we provide for you in the portal. And they keep a record of the competition. So they can help your judge make decisions, and they can also make sure that help make sure your spellers don't spell out of order on stage. In many cases, a single classroom teacher should be able to act as pronouncer, judge, and record keeper for a classroom level bee. However, for a school spelling bee, we encourage you to recruit a few teachers or administrators so you can divide up these responsibilities. Now, when it comes time for you to administer your spelling bee, we encourage you to think about the rules you want to enforce. The bee has provided a set of suggested rules for spelling bees that you can find in your educator portal, and I will show you that right now. It is listed under the classroom spelling bee level or the school spelling bee level. You can get there from either way, and it's up here in this tab called Rules. So you can download this 8-page PDF of our suggested rules for spelling bees. This set of rules is a great place for you to learn more about how you can expect your competition to unfold. And it could also be provided to your students and their parents ahead of time so that everyone's on the same page when you begin your competition. I do just want to go over a couple little key takeaways from our suggested rules. So one thing to be sure to review are our eligibility requirements. And that is important because you want to make sure that whoever wins your school spelling bee will be eligible to compete in the Scripps National Spelling Bees national competition if they advance that far, which is an absolutely real possibility. You can also get guidance on how the officials can and should interact with your students, including which questions they can answer and what to do if a speller appeals a decision made by your officials. Your spellers can learn more about their own role in the competition, including what questions they can ask and what their responsibilities are. And it also gives you a refresher on how we recommend you end your spelling bee in a fair way. I will say that a lot of this information within the suggested rules is also included within that resource that I shared at the beginning, Spelling Bee 101. And that really is that deep dive into the competition and all the different best practices for it. So do be sure to check that out. All right, now that we've gone through all the different materials you can use for your bee and who should be involved in the administration, I do want to point out some of the additional resources that are available to you. So I'm going to go here to Spelling Bee or School Spelling Bee, and you'll see that this how-to is highlighted. And this gives you a really, really good look at all the different resources that you can use to conduct a bee in one of 3 different ways. So beginning in 2020, we started providing even more resources to help you host a school spelling bee program, no matter the circumstances in your area. And we've continued to offer 3 different ways that you can host either a classroom or a school level spelling bee. Like I said, you can find more about these options on the how-to tab that's available for classroom spelling bees as well as school spelling bees. But we'll stay here with school spelling bees to run through this one. So you'll see here that if you have your in-person spelling bee, You will need your pronouncer that we just went through, using the school competition list to administer the competition. You'll see there talks a little bit about the judges, the record keeper, but what I want to point out here is that we do provide a written test form. So if you are in a position where you can't have your students sitting together on stage, you can have them write down their spellings using our written test form. If you wanted to give your spelling bee as a written exam instead of an oral in-person bee. But hopefully you're all able at this point to have that in-person spelling bee experience. If you have students who are learning remotely, we do have guidance for virtual spelling bees, including best practices, some information about additional officials you might need if you're hosting a virtual spelling bee through a platform like Zoom. And then we also have our integrity pledge that we encourage you to have your students take together before a virtual bee. And then finally, we have our online testing platform. So we developed that back in 2020 for teachers who were dealing with pandemic circumstances. And we continue to offer it as a resource included as part of your school's enrollment. So it is a fully turnkey resource. So you don't have to choose the words or write questions. You simply make some decisions about the test, including what level you'd like, how many questions you'd like to give, if you would like there to be spelling or vocabulary as a part of it. And then you can, create your test and administer it to your students through our online testing platform. One fun thing about it is that we have pronunciations of the words from our official pronouncer, Dr. Bailey. So that's always a thrill for the kids as they're taking the test. Now, my colleague Julia is going to host a webinar that's all about the online testing platform. So if that is something that you are still interested in using this year and learning more about, I would encourage you to join that webinar. I'm going to throw the the registration link in the chat, but it will take place on Wednesday, October 4th at noon Eastern. So really quickly, I would like to share a little bit more about the online testing platform, just because it is such a great resource, whether you use it to administer a school spelling bee or not. You could just use it in your classroom. You could use it at the grade level. So I'm going to click online testing platform right here. You'll see 3 tabs at the top. You will have access to the online testing platform beginning at the end of this month. So I think that's that next Friday. My goodness. Next Friday. September 29th. And so that'll be when you can get into the platform and start using it, start creating tests, start scheduling things. We do have instructions as well as video tutorials for the levels of the online testing platform. And then I do just want to point out here, we have email templates. And these allow you to communicate to parents and other educators about using the online testing platform as part of your school spelling bee. But I will say, pro tip, that you can actually tweak these email templates and use them to communicate with parents, even if you aren't using the online testing platform. So for instance, emailing parents, if you need to email the parents of all of your classroom spelling bee winners to let them know that their child is going to be participating in the school bee, and here's the school spelling bee study list that they should study from, you can download this template. We have all of these templates in English and Spanish. And that will allow you to do just a little bit of tweaking, and it works fine for an in-person bee as well. So, okay, that was a lot of information. I do want to break this up a little bit really quickly. Now that we've gone through the 3 different ways that you can host your bee, I would love to do one final poll and just get sort of an idea of what you all, how you all feel like you will be administering your school spelling bee this year. We have all of those great options available to you. They really all came about, due to the pandemic in 2020, but it has allowed us to provide a lot of really great resources. So silver linings. Okay. Give it just a couple seconds. This is very exciting. So far, these results excite me a lot. So, all right, Just a few more seconds. I got a couple people still answering. All right. Okay. So it looks like 98% of you are planning to have an in-person oral spelling bee. That is so exciting. Very, very glad to hear it. And then the 2% of you who answered differently chose the in-person written test option. So that's a great option as well. So very, very excited to hear that. We definitely think that in-person oral spelling bee, you know, I can remember having it in the library, 1 year in the gym. We think that that's just a fantastic opportunity for your students to show off their skills for their classmates. So that is very exciting. Okay, we are almost finished here, which is great because we will have some time to answer your questions. I do want to go through really quickly. Let me share your educator portal again. As part of your school's enrollment, you do have access to some prizes for your school champion, and then also some certificates that you can give out to other students. So for the time being, what you're going to do is go to School Spelling Bee and prizes here up at the top of this page. I will give you a little sneak peek. We are working with some very exciting organizations that I can't talk about yet, but next month, you will actually have access to even more prizes and offers for your students. And we're actually going to pull this prizes tab over to the left menu because it'll be so exciting. So you can look out for it there. But for right now, we'll just show you what we have available currently. The one thing I do want to point out is here at the top is your Encyclopedia Britannica certificate. So every school that enrolls with the bee receives one free 1-year subscription to Britannica Online for Kids, which is a study tool and a resource for students. It's fantastic. We're so grateful for this partnership with Encyclopedia Britannica. And actually, so you can give this certificate as a prize. I'll show you how it works. So you have your school name that populates, and then you enter the student's name. And if you enroll before September 29th, you actually will have access to a second 1-year subscription to Britannica Online for Kids. So you can give out 2 prizes as part of your school bee. So if you haven't yet enrolled, definitely do that before the end of the month, so you'll get that prize. And then we also, if I go back just to the prizes, we also have a number of certificates that you can give out to your students. We love that the bee program provides so many recognition opportunities, whether your student is the champion or they are simply praised for being most improved in spelling, or the camaraderie award. And then there's also a customizable certificate if you have a special saying or award that you want to give out that's specific to your school. So once you have declared your school champion, awarded them their certificate, you are going to go here to school champion registration, and you'll click that. And we actually already, in this example, we've already filled it out, but I will show you how it goes. So basically, you are going to complete this school champion registration form. It's going to give basic information about your champion directly to your regional partner, so that they will know all of that information so that they can include them in the next level of your area's spelling bee program. So I'll show you what this looks like. It is just a lot of basic information. And then some regional partners will include some special instructions here. So if there are certain things that they want to know about your champion, and then some of them will also ask you to upload a photo that they can use as part of their materials, maybe like a program with all of the spellers' photos in it for that regional bee. So, excuse me, give me 1 second. There we go. Okay. Once you have completed that, excuse me, school champion registration, I do just want to remind you that you can go back here to the school spelling bee and then the study list tab. And here at the bottom, you have a full study list for Words of the Champions. So that is our regional study list. it includes 4,000 words that your school champion should study to help them prepare for the next level of your regional partners competition. This year, it gets updated every year. And this year, we've added a lot of fun themed lists and word puzzles just to help your students learn those words even better through the context of different themes or some fun word puzzles. So we're very excited about that. Do be sure to provide your school spelling bee champion with that Words of the Champion study list. Now, they can also, if that wasn't fun enough, they can also download Word Club. So their parents can download Word Club. It is our premier study tool. It is completely free. So it's free to download, it's free to play, and it includes all of the words in the school spelling bee study list. So it's a great tool for spellers to use when they're studying for the school level, but it also includes all 4,000 words that are in that regional study list, the Words of the Champion. So they can take fun quizzes, play games, and learn those words. All right. Okay, so I think that is just about everything that I wanted to get through with you today. So I think we do have some time for questions now. I see a couple of them have already come in, which is awesome. I am going to read these really quickly and give you some answers. So please do feel free to jump into the Q&A button if you have more questions. I can answer them now. All right. What is the 2024 Words of the Champions list and who should use it to study? Okay, so that's the one that we just went through. It is the 4,000 word regional study list. So your school spelling bee champion should use that to study for the next level of their regional partners competition structure. So whether that's a regional qualifying bee, which might be like a district bee or a county bee, or if that next level is just the regional spelling bee that will send their champion all the way up to the national competition, either one of those, excuse me, either one of those, they should be studying that Words of the Champion study list. Great question. All right. Where do I access details about my regional partners program? What does minimum grade for participation mean on my regional bee partners info page? Great question. Why don't I go ahead and share my screen one more time? I say one more time, but it might be more than one more time. Okay, so here's the homepage of your educator portal. Here on the left menu, you'll see regional program information. And when you click here, that is what brings up all of this information about your regional partners program. So let me kind of go through it all really quickly one more time. So up here, we have contact information and the name of your regional partner for your area. Then we have information about their final local spelling bee, which we call the regional spelling bee. And so you'll have not only the location, the date and time, but a lot of them will include instructions about parking, when to check in, if concessions are available, things like that. Then you'll have your important dates, and that will include the deadline that you should conduct your school spelling bee, when you should register your school champion by, and then we'll have some information here about qualifying for that regional spelling bee. So this is where they will include any information about regional qualifier events. And you'll see down here some information about homeschool students. So whether homeschools are participating in the program. You'll also see here, there'll be a line about minimum grade for participation. So in this example, there is no minimum grade for participation. However, at some of our regional partners choose, whether it's due to a tradition a spelling bee tradition in their local area, they will choose to have a minimum grade level. And that means that while we provide materials for 1st through 8th grade, they might decide, you know what, we just want to have 6th, 7th, and 8th grade as in our regional spelling bee. And in that case, what you would do is You would just have to be sure that your school champion met that minimum grade level. So they would have to be at least a sixth grader in that example to move forward. Some of them might have third grade as a minimum grade level. And so you'd have to, your school champion would at least need to be in the third grade in order to move forward to the regional program. Not all of our regional partners have a minimum grade for participation, but some of them do. So you'll want to be sure to look out and make sure that there isn't one in your area. And then another piece of that that's a little similar is some of our regional partners choose to not allow a previous regional champion to move forward to the national competition twice. So if they have already gotten to that regional level, they might not be eligible to compete in the regional level for a second time. There are much fewer of those than the ones that have minimum grade levels, but I think there are still maybe like one or two that only you have to be a new school spelling bee champion in order to participate. So all of this is good information. Do be sure to check it out and use these deadlines as we went over to kind of work backwards to figure out your own spelling bee structure. Okay, let's see. I know there were a couple more questions that I saw. Let's see. Okay. This person had a little bit of a question about the Word Club app. So just to reiterate, the Word Club app, that is free to download from either the Apple Store, the Apple App Store, or the Google Play Store. So available for Apple and Android devices. And that's your phone, that's your tablet, anything that can download apps, basically. And it is free to download, and it also includes free quizzes for all 4,000 words in Words of the Champions, which is that regional study list. And then that 4,000 words also includes the 450 words that are on your school spelling bee study list, and that is what your school, what your classroom champions will study to go up to that school level. So basically it's a great tool, a great study tool for a student at any level, because it's totally free. It gives them fun quizzes where they can learn the spellings and the meanings for all 4,000 of those words. So it's great for studying for the school spelling bee, for a regional qualifier bee, or for a regional spelling bee. Okay, great question. Let's see. All right, we will be recording this webinar, so it'll be available on our YouTube channel, and also we will send out the recording link after we get that up, so you'll automatically receive that. Let's see, I think we saw a couple more questions. Is there anything else? So just a couple things to reiterate. If you go into that regional program information, which I am still sharing, great. If you go in here and you only see like this information up here at the top, if you only see the name of your regional partner and their contact information, that just means they haven't submitted all this additional information to us yet. We are working with our regional partners to get all of that information submitted, hopefully by the end of this month. But some of them just have a couple details that they still need to square away. So just keep checking back, and we'll be sure that those get updated ASAP. Let's see. All right. Are there other questions? Okay. There's a question in here around grade level. So we kind of went over the minimum grade level for a regional partner program, but we don't separate out by grade level at our competition. So what I mean by that is that at the national competition, you'll see everyone from first grade to eighth grade competing against each other. And that is how your school spelling bee should be as well. There's no first grade B and then a second grade B and then a third grade B. It's everyone competing together once you get to that school-wide level. Okay, I think that we are pretty pretty good. I don't see, let's see. All right. Okay. I think we've covered everything that's in the Q&A. So if for some reason we did not get to your question, please be sure to reach out to us. So we have a fantastic customer service team. You've seen some of them jumping in to answer your questions live here while I was doing my run through. And you can always reach out to us. Actually, you can do that at spellingbee.com/contact. You can fill in our contact form. Our customer service team is fantastic. They are the A team of the B team, and they will get back to you within 24 hours during the school week. So do be sure that if you have questions, we do have the answers, and you can reach out to us that way. So that is, I think, all the time we have this afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for all the great questions. Like I said, please be sure to reach out if you have more questions. Before you head off to enjoy your evening, I do just want to share my gratitude and the gratitude of the entire Scripps National Spelling Bee team. Our program would not be possible without the work of you and other educators at your schools, and you help us give millions of students the words they need to shine their light on the world. And we are so, so thankful for your support. So thank you again for sharing your afternoon with me. Take care, everybody.